Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Dota 2 Season 3 Chinese Qualifier. Here is going to be Game 1 of a 2-game series between CDEC and Invictus Gaming. We saw Invictus Gaming earlier today going up against Newbie's Miracle team, and they were actually able to draw it to a 1-1. Invictus Gaming looked really good in Game 1, but Game 2 just threw them for a loop a little bit. When it came to that mid to late game, they tried something a little bit different with the Burning Luna going for a more utility build, and it didn't really work out as nearly as well as it did in their other game that they tried it out here. So China mixing things up a little bit at the tail end of 6.83 here. We're on the verge of a new patch, and these guys are pulling out all the stops. So once again, we're just in the group stages here, but these two teams going at it. I myself am Blaze. Happy to be able to bring you guys this game on behalf of Beyond the Summit. And let's get into the draft. So looking at the initial bans here, the Troll Warlord, Bat Rider, Queen of Pain, and Snipers, pretty standard. But what's surprising is that the Shadow Fiend wasn't picked up in Phase 1 when it was available, and neither was the Ancient Apparition. So both are going to be banned out immediately in Phase 2. And it's not so uncommon to see the Storm prioritized over those two, or the Earthshaker, but it really is surprising to see the Spirit Breaker. So Spirit Breaker in Phase 1, CDEC obviously have some real plans for it. And, I mean, I would presume it's just going to be the offlane played by XZ. XZ is drafting the Spirit Breaker up for himself, wants to make sure that he picks that one up, and we'll see what he can do with it. But it just seems like a very surprising pick this early on. It almost seems like they have a very specific strategy outlined for this draft and how to deal with IG. Obviously, you have the potential to charge mid a lot, kill the Storm Spirit multiple times, and cause problems, but up against the Storm Shaker, I just feel like the Earthshaker is going to diffuse that situation more often than not. Radiant side, you get that Vision of Spirit Breaker charging in through many different angles, and all you need is one Earthshaker to shut that down entirely. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sold on this draft, but I'm open to the possibility of this pulling out some really cool new meta strats at the tail end of this patch. Here we have Undying banned out. We're looking for one more hero taken off the table from CDEC, and we can move in to see exactly what their game plan is. They get a back-to-back ban into pick, so there's some real possibility of breaking down the synergy that IG can go for, or pulling out kind of a special niche lineup here. So Storm Spirit naturally goes well with the AA because of the Ice Blast jump potential, but now we're going to see the Clockwork as well. They really want to limit that global long-range initiation, and they're going to go for a bread-and-butter support here. The Lion is one of the top tier supports of the metagame, and pretty much the best in terms of just doing a little bit of everything. Good damage, good disable, good lane presence, good roaming. And this guy does a little bit of it all. And we'll see how well he'll perform here, but he's got to be involved. He's got to look to get the kills, and I could see them going for like an Executioner lineup. I could see them going for either an Axe or a Necrophos for their next pick, and using the Laguna Blade and Finger of Death damage to set up one of those ultimates for the kill. We're going to see Phantom Lancer picked up, though, not the easiest hero to deal with, and they might consider something a little bit different to counteract him specifically. So Phantom Lancer is a little bit frustrating to go for your standard Juggernaut carry in this situation, and Aggressive might go a completely different route. I mean, the Slark is not bad in this situation necessarily, not ideal, but also not bad.
10 seconds remaining.
You don't want to go for like a glass cannon range here. You really want to go for a melee carry at this point in time. Maybe somebody who can get some cleave going on, or just somebody who can go head to head with a Phantom Lancer and kind of man fight against him a little bit. So, not exactly sure what that entails. The Spectre isn't bad here with the amount of potential kills, but I'm kind of digging the idea of the Necrophos. I think Necrophos is going to be really strong next patch in particular, but in this patch he still brings some strength to the table. But they go back for the Juggernaut, and now Phantom Lancer versus Juggernaut is a matchup we see very frequently. Phantom Lancer, I think, has a significant edge in this matchup until the Juggernaut picks up Cleave, and then they're almost even. Phantom Lancer still having a little bit more with the Doppelganger, but not by much. So we'll see exactly how CDEC look to build and how they look to build the tempo of this. Another possibility was the Lifestealer. It's not great in an AoE sense unless you go for a Maelstrom build, but it is really good with the charging Spirit Breaker cow. You just infest inside of him and go on a journey. We've been seeing the Lifestealer more and more, so I thought that was a possibility. But what I'm really curious about is Shiki's mid laner. Shiki is probably the best player in my mind on CDEC, or at least the most defining one as far as his big plays. So I could see him doing a lot of work on the Lina, but I'm also curious if they want to go for something like a Templar Assassin for him. Go for a Lina support with the Lion, Spirit Breaker offlane, Juggernaut safe, and go for TA versus Storm. Obviously, Templar Assassin is really bad against Phantom Lancer. Doesn't do anything to the illusions whatsoever as far as side blades goes, but still a really good matchup against Storm in the mid. So it could go for that. I've seen Silencer kind of picked up more recently in that role to try to get some offensive presence against those heroes. Obviously, the Global Silence being really good until PL picks up one of his core items. Manta, Diffusal, kind of negates that and makes it relatively useless. But yeah, if they're going for a mid Lina, I would say a Skywrath Mage is probably their last pick here. It would be just really good for that instant silence, instant lockdown, good damage output whenever they hit with the Charger, the Yules combos. So I would say Skywrath Man seems to make a lot of sense just in case the Lina's mid, but Shiki still could be running something completely different. We'll have to see.
Invictus Gaming's turn to ban.
So the Zeus is going to be banned out. Against Invictus Gaming. IG here, they've already got Burning Phantom Lancer, they've got Faith Earthshaker, Cheesebug will be on the Witch Doctor, Ferrari on the Storm Spirit, and they're just looking for Luo's offlaner. Last time we saw a Broodmother. I don't think we'll see that again, but it's an interesting pickup for sure. I think the reason that Brood was so strong in the last game was because they were able to go for an aggro try with their other heroes, and Brood got to go for that safe lane setup where she just pretty much had the lane she wanted. In this case, the Viper is going to get banned out, so they expect Shiki to be picking up a mid that's not the Lina, and I would not be surprised at that at all. But who really fares well against the Storm Spirit? OD? I would love to see an OD, actually. Outworld Devourer sounds like a really good pick here, in my mind, but it's something that has been out of meta for so long that most people forget he even exists. But I think OD would wreck the Storm Spirit in mid, and Ferrari would have a very frustrating time. We'll see, though. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of old meta stuff. I'm thinking like Brewmaster and OD. Bring those heroes back. Get something a little bit different. I would dig it, but you never know. There's a lot of different ways to play this draft, but the pure damage of OD against Phantom Lancer Illusions, he one-shots them, is the bottom line. Is because of the Arcane Orb, he will one-shot Phantom Lancer Illusions no matter how tanky they get. And that makes it very clear what you're up against. I don't know. I like Outworld Devourer here a lot, but I don't think they're going to pick it up just because of how far away from the metagame he is. Invoker's going to be the selection, though, and that's not too bad. I mean, obviously going to have some good potential here in terms of AoE suppressive damage output, the magical damage from the Meteor, or maybe he goes for the EMP build this time around. EMP sounds pretty good in this situation. They've already got a lot of control between the first three heroes of their selection, so going for a Wex build-up, I could see some real kill potential. The Orchid opener is only good against the Storm for a little while, and then he's going to get something to negate that. So I don't know if Invoker wants to go for an Orchid this game, but it definitely is an option for him.
5 seconds remaining.
This is going to be pretty interesting, I think. A very active roster from CDEC. I think I prefer their draft slightly, but if IG find the right offlaner, they are going to be in a pretty good spot, I think. So they could just go for a Luo offlane Earthshaker and go for another support. Find something that'll counter out CDEC a little bit here. Hex, I think. Like Shadow Shaman would be pretty good, actually.
10 seconds remaining.
But they go for the Enigma, a little greedy, but still has that push emphasis. And the quick stun coming in from Malefice should stop charges from Sphere Breaker for the most part. So I can dig it. Gonna see some good potential here with Faith picking up the Enigma, and it will be Cheesebug running the Witch Doctor. So that gives you your offlane Earthshaker with Luo, Burning on the PL, and Ferrari Storm. So just shifting things up just a little bit here. They turn the Earthshaker into an offlaner, and we'll see what Faith can do on that Enigma. A lot of potential, but obviously he's always gonna have to be worried about the Hex, the Yules, the Nether Strike, all the stuff that can take him out of his ultimate. So the Black Hole might not be the point of emphasis here. I think he'll go much more for like a pushing and fighting build. Could go into that Mechanism, into Bloodstone that we've been seeing a little bit more recently. So I think that'd be cool.
5 seconds remaining.
And pretty much no surprises on the side of CDEC's hero pickups. I'll go through the roster real quick for those that are less familiar with the team, but we're going to be seeing Q on the support Lina, supporting alongside Garter on the Lion. Leaves Shiki to take the mid Invoker with a null tally start, aggressive, the safe lane farmer, your Juggernaut. That will leave Spirit Breaker to go in the off lane, and XZ will do the best he can there, but since it's a 1v2, it should be alright. Faith is going to be in the jungle for the most part, and that means that it shouldn't be too much of a concern. But, of course, I already mentioned the guys here on the side of Invictus Gaming, just making sure, yeah, their items are pretty traditional here. The interesting thing is Luo picking up a Ring of Protection. Means he wants to go maybe for early Tranquil Soul Ring, but overall it's not that surprising of a pickup. So we'll look for the potential clash. Radiant will see the approach of CDEC, but CDEC have no idea just yet. Now catching them out, but they don't see Ferrari, they don't see Luo, or Cheesebug, sorry. So it is going to be the disengage, and everybody's just going to go back to their respective locations, but who will get the bounty rune in the end? Enigma isn't great at a level 1 clash, but everybody else seems to be pretty solid. It looks like it's going to be a free bounty rune up top for CDEC in the hands of XZ, and it looks like it's going to be an aggro try from CDEC. They definitely had the option of running this, but I wasn't sure if they would. The cool thing that, they're not going to get the bounty, they're not going to get the bottom bounty rune that will be going to Ferrari. And it looks like they'll even give Invoker his own bounty rune to move towards, I guess, Boots of speed faster. He doesn't really need tangos with the Quas start, so yeah, I think he'll just save for Boots. Shiki is going to be going for Quas Wex. As we see the initial Quas opener, you would be going Exhort here if you intended to bring out the flames. But the interesting lane is going to be here. There's two reasons why strategically this is the better decision. They absolutely could have run the Spirit Breaker in the off lane and run these three in the safe lane, but because the Earthshaker is the offlaner for IG, you get a 1v1 matchup between Spirit Breaker and Earthshaker, and Spirit Breaker is going to be doing pretty well there. On top of that, the Enigma is a very passive support. He's going to be in the jungle, rotating between these three camps, and they didn't block any of those camps off. So, oh, now they do. They do block out the hard camp, and they do get some good vision. But the more important thing to note is that now they're in a 3v2 situation that makes sure that that Burning can't farm, essentially. Burning is going to get a few last hits to start off, or maybe not. But long term, he's going to have too much pressure on him, and it's going to start with Lina here. With the position of Light Strike Array, it's going to be the Doppel Walk away. They won't even try for the spells. They'll just be happy about forcing out that 25-second cooldown. So in this position, it's going to be very difficult to kill the Phantom Lancer, but it's going to be easy peasy to make sure that he doesn't get to farm. And with that, eventually Garter and Q can look to roam, but they don't have any smokes just yet. You usually have to spend a little bit more to get involved in an aggressive tri lane than a defensive one. Sentry versus Sentry. Looks like no tangos will be eating wards today, and Cheesebug will be able to just deward this abruptly. Shiki gonna trade hits here, gonna be taking some damage. He already used his Cold Snap, so he has nothing to do but walk away. But in the end, the boots will come out, and he'll have a significant advantage in terms of movement on the lane. Up top, XZ has taken a lot more harassment than you would expect. In fact, look at Luo, 6-1 versus 5-1 on XZ. He even cancels out the Sav here. So they forced out the same amount of tangos plus a Sav, and they're still at relatively the same HP pool. That seems like, I feel like XZ is playing that lane incorrectly, or Luo is just doing something amazing. And it's unfortunate that we do have to watch this kind of 3v2 more frequently, because I'm really curious how that's playing out that way. Luo just going for this double Aftershock build, a 0-1-2, but now he's going to be taking some hits. One bash is all XZ needs to finish the job, but he doesn't get it. If he bashes, then he can follow through with the charge, and that's an easy kill. But as it is, he doesn't connect with enough, and he's just going to be trading some effective damage. So a 0-1-2 build is definitely how you want to play the 1v1 Earthshaker, and it seems to be working out pretty well for him so far. In the mid lane here, we've got Shiki running around with 9 and 2. Storm Spirit up to 11 and 3. Ferrari's controlling this lane pretty well. But this, again, the Invoker really doesn't last hit intensely until a little bit later. The more important thing is that he gets the skills that'll be of the higher impact in the earlier stage of the game. Cold Snap, Tornado, EMP, your standard combo to counteract a lot of heroes. And you can even use this on the Storm Spirit when he's like level 5.5 and try to make it so that he doesn't have any mana to be aggressive with the first ball lightning. So, just farming away, really not much activity, no first blood just yet. But whenever I say that, it usually comes out on another lane, like about 30 seconds later. So, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled. Luo does go for those early Tranquil Boots, and he's in a great spot in this lane. Like, he has so much reach and sustain. It's actually ridiculous. Like, XZ is chewing through his last tangos. He's going to have to do a quick burst of damage. He can't just harass Luo. He has to bring him down, or he'll just walk away and Tranquil Boot back to full HP. So we're going to see the Slugfast back and forth, but this very short cooldown on Enchant Totem, he's 0-2-2, and he is just dominating the Spirit Breaker. He doesn't know what hit him. This Totem is just doing so much work. And, yeah, he's just got a really good build for trading hits. The Tranquil Boots, the Stout Shield. And the Stout Shield of the Spirit Breaker means so much less because the hits coming in from the Earthshaker are so much heavier. Getting that bonus 200% damage will triple that base to like 130. And a Stout Shield block of 20 is not going to make a difference. So, good damage coming in from the Earthshaker. And it costs so little mana too. It scales 20 to 50. And it just allows you to last hit so well. And more importantly in this case, trade hits. Because he just gets to spam that out without any cost. Now we see him mid though. Rotation from the Lion. I was thinking the Storm might look to dive with that Ball Lightning. He'd be punished heavily with the Hex, but not going to come through. We might see a Smoke Blade coming out. Yeah, Smoke is on the Enigma, but Cheesebug playing defensively for now. And so it's a 1v1 between the carriers while the supports move about the map. The Lion waiting for the Storm to jump on Shiki so that he can counter-initiate. But it looks like that's not going to happen. All in all, last hits now going the way of the Juggernaut as far as topping out the charts. The Enigma's last hits are lower gold density because they are from the jungle. We are going to see, however, movement here with the Black Hole, trying to find the Juggernaut before he gets too big. And he does have phase boots, so it's going to be difficult to find this kill, but they connect with a Spirit Lance into a stun, and there's a good chance they can still try to go for that Black Hole. It comes down to the spin and the phase boots timing, both off cooldown now. So, gonna go see the phase boots away immediately. They're just gonna go for the easy kill on the Lina, but they get the Black Hole onto both of them. So the Lina will drop down first without a single spell cast, but what about the Juggernaut? Here he's gonna be trying to trade a quick hit, but then gonna get hit by the Lance and the Malediction, realizing very quickly that he's gonna be out of life. Last Spirit Lance will connect, and that is going to be 2 kills in favor of IG. Very nice movement. Meanwhile, up top, we've got Luo getting hit by a single Earth Spike, but there is no charge. It's already been used. And Luo's going to be fine, despite being 2v1. Burning, taking some harassment, but turns out to be relatively fine, and he did get one of those kills. He did get the Juggernaut at the tail end of it. So first blood goes to the Witch Doctor. The kill, he gets the ward up here to really make this lane secure down bottom. And Earthshaker's going to pwn Spirit Breaker, because that's what happens when you go back to the creep wave against Echo Slam. Just gonna very simply slam him down, 840 damage when you combine the Enchant Totem, the Echo Slam, and the Fissure together. Really simple maneuver from Luo, but the Spirit Breaker doesn't respect the fact that he's being just out-leveled and out-gamed in this lane. He really thinks that he has a stake in it, but this Earthshaker's huge. I mean, level 2-2-3-1 is just a build where you could do so much melee versus melee, and he's really showing what this Earthshaker is capable of in a 1v1. Like, generally speaking, he's an unfavored hero in this environment, but no, this could be a core shaker. This shaker could be doing so well, he could go for like a Blink Dagger and then go into right-click items, and I would not be the slightest bit unhappy. In fact, I would love to see it. But might just go for the Soul Ring for the easy Fissure mana. I think the idea here is if he can get the Blink cleanly and doesn't die, then he'll just do that. But if there is a death or something like that, then he's going to delay it for the Soul Ring. We're going to see the Smoke Charge come through onto Burning and a spin as well. Nether Strike connects, and Burning doesn't get the chance to doppel out. They had an Observer Ward here, and they thought, okay, no way Spirit Breaker could charge, but with the Smoke of Deceit, it makes it pretty easy. Now the spin is on cooldown. Now Aggressive will die in return. I think it's a bigger kill to bring down the Phantom Lancer and get a point on the board for CDEC. As well, there are 4 heroes down here, and 5 if you count the deceased cat, so in that case, it is going to be kind of space created as well on the mid and top lane. Spirit Breaker now making his move elsewhere, and then Lion finding farm up top. So Burning just says screw that lane, going somewhere else, and he will find some farm there, though the Observer Ward scouts his movement out pretty early, and it looks like they make the intentional decision to ride him as long as they can. We're going to see down bottom, Voodoo Restoration level 1 is a pretty good pushing tool along with the Eidolons, but Dragon Slave should be plenty to counter push. Now converging up top, they will get the Doppel Walk out, and the Hex is not going to come through. So Aggressive will spin on Burning all he wants, but that's not really going to force out too much from him, and the push will ensue down bottom. Really need the Nether Strike to make that happen, and also the Smoke of Deceit was a really big factor in the last gank. Smoking the charge is something that you can't do all day long, but it does make it so that you can really find those rare opportunities to charge him down. And that's why we've been seeing more Spear Breakers actually increase their Charge of Darkness rather than the Bash. Like, if you're just looking for damage, if you're looking for the most value out of your Spear Breaker in a fight, it's pretty much preferable to go for a 1-1-3 build. But if you're trying to go for a surprise attack, that extra movement speed from the Charge of Darkness and that initial stun is absolutely tremendous, and that's generally what you want. So, in this position, XZ's gone for the build that finds more gank opportunities rather than fighting opportunities, and so far it seems quite favorable for him. Switching over to net worth here, we're going to see that IG are up by 2,000, just a little bit above that, and about 3,300 for experience. So not too shabby from them. They're pulling ahead in the levels. Most of this comes down to the fact that they have essentially an extra lane out of this jungle. They're getting at least half the extra gold that you would get from a lane, and the experience as well. And he's going to be able to build up his mechanism very quickly. Enigma, one of the fastest level 1 junglers, and there was only one ward to block off his spawns, and they just sentryed that out a little while ago. Haven't seen too much for this Invoker, just last hitting for now. He's going to go for the Tornado EMP plays pretty soon. So far, I don't think any have connected on Ferrari, and even then he has the Soul Ring now. So I'm curious when this Invoker really gets involved. I mean, an Orchid Rush seems to be in order. I could go for the Drums of Endurance still, but I think it might be the Orchid. In that case, he's going to be able to counter a few heroes for a while, but the natural progression of the Storm and the Phantom Lancer should allow them to escape from the silence. Yeah, so that's going to be the Orchid, and we'll see the timing. I think it can come out maybe 15, 16 minutes in, and when he does, he can start looking for kills. Some good potential there, but right now we're going to see a Blink Dagger coming out for Luo. Man, has he had a good game. He has found himself 1 kill, 1 assist, and 46 last hits, and chalk that up to a 11-minute Blink Dagger. I actually don't think I've seen a faster Blink Dagger on Earthshaker personally. Like, I've seen 14 minutes pretty commonly. I think I've seen multiple of those, but 11 minutes is just absurd. Like, that is just a free lane shaker farming away. Now they're going to smoke it up, unveil it with a flourish here, trying to get the Invoker down mid. Ghost Walk is available, but they're going to go anyways. Going for the Echo Slam, Chain Stun, locking them down, the Earth Spike too low, and they had the dust anyways, so there's no getting out. Garter now going to be chased down, finished off, and the tier 1 will be falling as well. So, really good control, really good movement, great timing for the blink, surprise, and suddenly IG start pulling ahead that much further. I mean, tier 1 tower down quickly. Heroes dropping left and right. And now we see Aggressive. Gonna get the charge on Ferrari. Nether Strike to follow with the Omni Slash. Great ultimate right before the creep wave arrives. And that's quite unfortunate for Ferrari, of course. But still something going in favor of CDEC, finding a small opening here or there. Every time they use the Nether Strike, they should find a kill, ideally. Faith back in the jungle. Mechanism used to push, and now kind of saying, okay, well, I'm good to go for the next round. And just farming up the jungle quickly. So he'll be able to take down these Wild Wings and make his move towards the central camps to finish those off pretty well. Alright, looks like, yeah, he'll micro them actually after the lane. Try to last hit there, 1 or 2, without feeding too much to the Invoker. Earthshaker, Earthshaker, Earthshaker. Where does he go from here? He's got Tranquil Soul Ring, Blink Dagger, thanks to that double kill, or double assist, as it is. And with that, he's probably looking to kind of follow through with the Hardcore Initiation, the Force Staff, stuff like that. And we're going to see Aggressive try to pressure this lane a little bit here, see what he can do against the Witch Doctor. But Luo going to catch him out with the Fissure Death Ward. Unfortunately, the Fissure did not connect. It does block out his path slightly, but it doesn't actually stun him. So Aggressive, he's going to be fine. Down bottom, smoke play coming through. They have the Tornado EMP to set this up. XZ has a charge as well, but where is Burning? Hiding in the jungle here. They know that one of these illusions is real as the smoke breaks, but which one is it? The Doppel across the trees, and now they're all on the run. 2 illusions, but they find the real one in the end, and they are going to be able to nuke him down. Nice Hex finisher, and the Fissure, again, too late. But this time, it looks like it is going to be able to set up Shiki at least. Charge coming through. Black Hole, just onto Garter. XZ will Nether Strike it, but they can't really take this fight. Q is out of mana. He's on the run. Cask bouncing over and over to him, and XZ just barely getting the TP away. It does create space for aggressive, but all the same, the fight, incredible for IG. Just finding, off the back of that 3-man Fisher, a really great engagement with the Storm Spirit, and they're going to give him some much-needed momentum. Down bottom, the tier 1 push will come through. They've got the Eidolons already up and looking for another ward, but not in the traditional spot. Their good Faith is going to be warding maybe over here, maybe over here. It looks like they will take the northern plateau. Fortify coming out. Deny range, this tower should be in, so as I talk like Yoda, we're going to see the Deny come out from aggressive. The Garter in the mid lane going to get clobbered by a Blink Echo Slam, and starting off with the Fisher, leading with the Echo Slam, they will just destroy this Lion. They're going to be looking for the EMP Cold Snap onto Faith. Looks like he'll be going down unless Ferrari gets some massive slows out here. Actually going to just change their target entirely, and with 2 ultimates committed, they will bring him down while still charging onto Faith. He cannot get out in time. He has the Soul Ring mechanism, but I don't think that's going to save him. Bashing him down, and now looking for one more. Cheesebug gets hit by the Cold Snap. All the while, Earthshaker TP'd back. Got, actually, it looks like he just ran all the way around, got a haste rune. But in either case, 3-man swing for CDEC, and they immediately go for Roshan. Good attack speed here. They don't have a point in Exhort for Alacrity, unfortunately, but they'll still be able to take this down pretty swiftly. Fiery Soul is not skilled up either, maxing out the Lightstrike Ray. It does have some nice scaling, but I still think that that Fiery Soul is a pretty good 1-point wonder at the very least. Either way, Q has none of that. They're just going to take down Roshan, and meanwhile, Burning pushes the top tier 1. They're charging against him. They'll get a TP in from, I believe, the Invoker needs to. Yeah, he's the best one to lead that attempt if they want to bring down Burning. Tornado has a long range of initiation. They can lock him down. The charge keeps going, and Shiki's just trying to play it cool. As a result, they won't be able to pursue, but it probably would have been a pretty good trap anyways with 2 heroes here. So Invoker denies the top tier 1. They get Roshan. They get 3 kills. Really good swing in favor of CDEC here. You're going to see that graph go down, especially in the experience department. Really nice for CDEC moving up in levels. Their Lion is now at least getting up to level 7. Can use that Finger of Death to get some damage done. And I was talking about in the draft, the Finger of Death plus Laguna Blade. I think they're going to be focusing down on some targets pretty soon. Namely the Storm Spirit, but pretty much anybody they can get their hands on. Still, it is IG's advantage right now. They have a really good Observer Ward for pressuring the bottom lane for Burning. They have just generally a good control of the map, good heroes to fight at this point in time. The only thing they have to worry about is that Aegis that was picked up by the Invoker. If Shiki didn't have the second life, there would be no concern, but he's actually going to Ghost Walk and Orchid, and this is going to be a change of pace, I think. Surprising them with the Orchid Malevolence here is going to enable him to get at least 1 kill for sure. And we're going to see him find Faith. Oh, the Ghost Walk comes out. He has to pop the EMP immediately. They're going to dust it, and he's going to lose 1 life, but the Death Ward doing some damage here. Going to be able to bring down the Invoker. Faith going down to the Spirit Breaker charge. Cheesebug TPing out, and it looks like that's all they're going to get. The Tornado's not going to reach far enough. Max Wex makes it go the distance, but it is still a blink away. So, as a result, they unveil the Orchid on the Invoker. They use the Aegis, and all they get is a Enigma. Not the ideal pickup. Charging though, almost gonna get the Storm Spirit. They're just gonna keep charging. It's gonna be the Earthshaker to try to stop it, but it takes too long. They get the charge to connect, double damage from Ferrari, and just egging him on to try to go in under the tower. Shiki though, Ghost Walking. We'll dispel that. We'll go for the push, and aggressive really needs that farm. Needs to get as many last hits as he can, as well as pressure towers now, because otherwise he's just going to be way too squishy to actually get his abilities off against things like the instant Echo Slam and the Death Ward combo that we've seen following through. Sanjin Yash is going to be his next pickup perhaps. BKB is an alternative, but I'm not sure how much he needs that item in particular. And it's going to be a Diffuser Blade for Burning coming out before the drums, it looks like. I mean, he's banking a lot of gold, so I'd have to say yes. Generally speaking, Chinese Phantom Lancers, especially Burning, goes for Drums of Endurance into the Diffuser Blade. They get their Treads and Aquila, maybe a Wand for stats, and then they go right into the drums. But in this case, he forgoes a Django and decides to say Diffuser Blade is what I want to rush out. And the reason I suspect that is just because of how much gold he has. Shaky. Invis on top of Invis. There are some benefits to actually having Invis rune instead of Ghost Walk. You move a little slower, but you don't actually show them when you're nearby. So you can be right on top of them and not actually risk putting the debuff on them to reveal your location. But looks like he's going to dispel that just to try to control the pit. Not really going to get farm from the Eidolons, and in fact, I'm not even sure why they went that way. Ghost Scepter coming out for Luo. I don't think this is a game where you want to go Ethereal Blade. No, you have a Storm Spirit and a Death Ward. You really want to make sure you can right-click your targets. So, looks like it's just a defensive pickup against the Juggernaut. It's also not too bad against the Invoker. If you immediately get opened on with the Orchid and you can't blink out, then you can still use the Ghost Scepter and you're not going to get hit by nearly as many cold snaps. You might even be able to walk out of the EMP. But we're going to see movement here onto the Storm Spirit. They will connect with the Orchid and just nuke them down. They need one more nuke, though. Need to finish them off. The Orchid Soulburn will finish them before any heals can come through. So, good finisher there. Attempt to keep them alive with the defensive support play, but it doesn't happen. They're charging top. They're looking for Burning, and they will be able to connect with the Nether Strike here. Burning going down as well. 2 amazing kills. Right when the Bloodstone came out for the Storm Spirit, too. Going from 8 to 5 instantly, he's got a lot of ground to make up for. And I actually have to feel that CDEC are back in control of this game. I mean, the Hand of Midas on Witch Doctor puts some time on the clock here. They still have to worry about Cheesebug getting to the Aghanim Scepter stage, but as it is right now, CDEC have the most gank presence. They have the most fight potential with this BKB now on the Juggernaut, and we'll see what he can do. Now, I said before that I don't think BKB is really great this game. I feel in a way that's still kind of true. I mean, you're still going to be worried about the instant disables, right? Like the Echo Slam blinked right on top of you. The Black Hole you're not going to be able to prevent. The Midnight Pulse and Death Ward will still damage you, and that's most of the damage that you're taking, actually. But there are still plenty of good things that it does block. First of all, if you pop it early enough just to run into the fight, you have nothing to fear. Second of all, it's going to allow you to stop the feedback of the Diffusal Blade, so you're not going to be losing all your mana right when the PL decides to target you. And then, of course, the Stern Spirit, you won't be jumped by him. You will be generally able to respond before the Electric Vortex connects. It's a good item overall, it's just sometimes it's not ideal. Faith, gonna be getting a Black Hole onto just Aggressive, and we see that the BKB does nothing for him here. They do have to commit 3 ultimates to actually bring him down, though, and that's obviously a big commitment. So, Radiant and Sentries, as well as Observer Wards. There on the bottom rune, and XE just charging to clear out that tier 2 mid. So, nice pickup on the Juggernaut for sure, but all the same, it's more of a nuisance than anything. It's going to give Burning a little bit more time to kind of catch up and farm. Right now, if you look at it, Burning, he's really not able to commit to farm too much. He didn't go for a farming build, first and foremost. Like, we don't see Mask of Madness, we don't see Yasha, we just see, like, combat items so that he can get involved. And while I like this in general, because you're not just AFK farming so long, Doppel walks away. Just because you're not AFK farming, it allows you to actually get involved in fights, but the problem is he's falling behind in last hits. So 158 for the Juggernaut. That Mask of Madness is so good in the jungle, just good at farming between the camps, and Burning really just has to keep moving forward. Move towards that Manta style as quickly as can be. And we'll see some good aggressive wards here. The Sentry outside the radius just by a little bit. And they're going to take the bottom tier 1, so map control kind of goes to CDEC here. They're willing to charge, they're willing to gank, and they have this Lothar's up on XZ. So by going into the Shadow Blade when he's charging, he's able to find new opportunities to kill and can really catch IG off guard. For example, Ferrari here, not a good spot for him to be in. If they just open with Nether Strike from the trees, he won't have any idea here, but he is gonna, it seems, see that something's heading his way, and he will just go for the ball TP. Oh, down bottom, we're actually seeing some action here in the mid lane, and it's gonna be Q dropping down to very low HP. Sorry, I kind of spaced out there. I was kind of trying to get in the head of Ferrari there, but it obviously failed my camera work in the end, as we do see a small clash. The Laguna plus the Finger Death both committed to kill the Earthshaker, and the Death Ward can't get a return kill. Pretty simple stuff, but nevertheless. That is a dominating streak coming in from the Earthshaker. He's pretty farmed at this point in the game, so, well, usually you look at Earthshaker and you're like, oh, well, yeah, he'll die, he'll come back, he'll do his thing. In this case, it is nice momentum for CDEC to open up the map a little bit, feel better about farming camps and stuff like that, even though the Radiant do see this. It's still not that dangerous. Ferrari, though, with the Invis Rune, that's dangerous. Going in here, finding Lina, she has the self-fuels, but the Vortex is maxed out. It should be a long disable. And should be quite effective. If he just scouts out a little bit longer, you'll see the Spirit Breaker 2. And they're going to look to converge 2v1. Doppling up high, not going to get hit with the Light Strike Array, and down goes Q. No Yules at all, actually. The Spirit Breaker invises away, there's no dust, but even still a good kill. It's going to be a Lincoln's game from the Storm, too, which should be pretty interesting. Obviously, it's really good against the Orchid. And either of the ultimates from the Lina Lion actually going to go in with the Echo Slam onto 2, but there is a nice Tornado EMP, and they're going to get caught in with the Earth Spike, both of them out of mana, but Faith with the Black Hole coming in, doing some good damage. XZ, he doesn't stop the charge for the Nether Strike, and he gets caught in the Black Hole too. Luo walking away with the Ghost Scepter while the Omni Slash comes through. It's taken a long time for them to prevent that Death Ward. Death Ward doing so much work here. They wipe out 4. Oh my, what a great counter initiation. That was just so good, engaging in that position. The Earthshaker making the jump, and I guess I would say it's a counter initiation, because it looked like CDEC turned it pretty well with the EMP play there, but in the end the Black Hole trumps it all. The Spirit Breaker charging in from the northwest could have stopped in his tracks here and then gone for the Nether Strike onto the Enigma, but he got caught in the Black Hole instead, and the Nether Strike didn't come out on the Death Ward until it had already been channeling for like 5 or 6 seconds straight. Like, it was just way too delayed play, counterplay from the XC Spirit Breaker, and amazing combo from IG, especially with that Black Hole. So, now he's got the BKB available. Only thing that can really stop him now is the Abyssal Blade Juggernaut will inevitably have to buy, or the Spirit Breaker's ultimate. I guess you could try to go for the Omni Slash, but it seems rare that you're going to be able to actually get it off in that kind of position.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Still, canceling the channels is a really big deal here. Black Hole and Death Ward have been doing a lot of work this game, and if CDEC don't shape up quickly, they're going to be running into some issues just trying to take the mid to late game. They're getting controlled really well. IG have the stronger team fight at this particular moment, and we see that as they pulled their net worth out of the gutters. They were pretty much in negatives and zeros for a decent stretch of time, but now they're up to 7,500 experience, and well, they were almost 5k in golden advantage. We are going to see, however, they deny the tower, give a little bit of gold away to CDEC, but more importantly, take gold off the field long term. Now we're going to see movement here. Smoke a Deceit. Going to be the catalyst for action. We do see, however, this Fissure. Oh, it will not block them out. That could have been a really lucky thing for Luo, but he gets chopped up by that Laguna Blade. They Nether Strike him, and they finger him. That's a lot. 3 ultimates just under the Shaker to bring him down. There's no Echo Slam, but now Ferrari, he is free to act. Even though he's going to be Cold Snap, he is going to be Orchided. There's not going to be a finisher, and now he gets to play with his mana. He will be Earth Spiked. They're going to actually try to chop him down with Aggressive. Oh, the Deafening! They actually do kill him off with all those disables. Garter now hit by the Diffusal Blade, but burning with only 1 point in Phantom Rush. Can't stay on top of Aggressive. So, fight recap, very important here. As we can see, that CDEC were able to win that one out. And I gotta say, a lot of it comes down to the fact that the Storm didn't do much here. 1,000 damage compared to, I would say, 3,000 plus that he could have done if he had actually gotten to use the rest of his mana. But what they ended up doing was just chain stunning him so damn hard that the mana just wouldn't, the spells wouldn't go. He got silenced initially in the Cold Snap, and that didn't seem to be a big issue because all the Lina was doing was right-clicking him. He was still at half HP, he still had plenty of mana to work with, but they were able to get in the Earth Spike and the Deafening Blast and these little quick stuns that actually add up to a lot. Ferrari wasn't able to actually act, and that changed the fight entirely. They committed a ton to Luo in the very beginning of it. They dropped the Nether Strike, the Finger of Death, and the Laguna Blade, all 3 onto the Earthshaker. But they do take him out of the fight. They do force out, or prevent that Echo Slam from happening, and without their ultimates, IG, they feel a little helpless. So, a really good fight from CDEC. They're going to need more where that came from if they're going to be able to move into a winning position this game.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Casual Wards coming out. This is a little awkward one because it doesn't see exactly what you want it to see. but it's still going to give them generally a good vision, and it's unlikely to be dewarded since your dewards are going to be here as well as up on the cliff. Tier 2 tower being pressured. It looks like CDEC don't want a piece of that action. Too many ultimates to worry about. The Blink Dagger, Earthshaker, crouching, hiding, waiting to pounce.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And the Spear Breaker hasn't really progressed whatsoever. If we look at items, he's kind of been stagnating quite a bit here, but he's still going to go for the charge play onto the creeps. And it's going to be them trying to punish it. Cheeky's here to try to respond, but the tornado would be way too late. He's already gone. So, not exactly sure what that was about, but those unnecessary deaths, unforced errors are just costing CDEC momentum, and IG are pulling ahead long term. There's actually going to be maybe an Echo Slam down bottom on the creep wave here. Aggressive, perfect spot. They charge up the totem, they go for the slam, death ward, and the Yules is too late. Aggressive pops his 8-second BKB, and then he goes down immediately thereafter. Or sorry, yeah, gonna be Enigma, gonna be caught out here. Just gonna get caught by the Blink Hex of the Lion, followed up with the Shiki's damage. So in the end, the Juggernaut goes down bottom, the Enigma goes out in the river, and the Laguna Blade was used, but to little effect. And that Juggernaut, 3 BKBs already used. I've only seen him use it twice, but he uses that third one there, and that just adds up more and more. I'd rather say less and less value out of this item. It's really awkward to get that BKB with this kind of item progression, and then to just use it back to back to back. Like, he probably would have benefited so much more from just getting the Battle Fury sooner, but in the end, he thinks the BKB will help him. Still ends up dying multiple times here. 5 deaths for the aggressive Juggernaut. He's playing too aggressively. That was bad, I'm sorry. Ferrari has his Liquid Sphere Bloodstone. Feels that's going to be plenty for him to stay active in the fights, but we saw how well he was actually controlled earlier. It's actually going to be a little awkward for him trying to engage without BKB. He's kind of relying on the Enigma and the Earthshaker to actually get some good control out. Like, if the CDEC don't actually get to just use their spells picture perfectly, if there is some control laying against them, then generally speaking, I would say that they're pretty happy to be able to let the storm just bounce around and do their thing. But if the black hole doesn't connect, if Luo doesn't really get many spells out, then we could definitely see the Storm Spirit having issues. Burning, looking for a play. They did have vision for a short time span, but they're going to have to blink on the cliff if they want to take care of that ward. They do not have vision for the low ground. And in fact, there's going to be Ferrari jumping in, taking care of it. Gold graph now 7,500 in favor of Invictus Gaming. Same thing for experience, but the Battle Fury did just get picked up by the Juggernaut. Allows him to deal better with the Phantom Lancer and farm faster if he gets the stacks. But this area is pretty well on lockdown. He doesn't feel safe farming the Dire Ancients, and for good reason. We see a smoke right around that secret shop. A counter smoke going the other way. I think they're going to pass like ships in the night. Oh no! Going into the jungle, going into the roast pit. It might actually be IG who are unable to do anything here. Ferrari, will he actually see this coming? Like, there's no way you expect they smoked right past you. It looks like this is just going to go. They're going to wait and wait and wait. They're not going to find anything. And then suddenly, Roshan has been killed by the Dire. And now the engagement will come through. Phantom Lancer, pop the Doppel, make it, sending in some confusion. Faith for the early BKB, but the Midnight Pulse is wasted. Nether Strike against him, and Omni Slash against Burning. No Doppel in time. Faith with the solo Black Hole onto Garter. Echo Slam up top onto XZ in the Midnight Pulse. So they will both go down. And now we see Aggressive, the only carry online. He's going to try to just fight it out, but there's so many stuns against him, they might not be able to do it. In the meantime, Witch Doctor will go down to the Invoker, but Juggernaut just going to have to spin away. So, essentially the Witch Doctor buying time on this part of the map, buying back, is going to be the Spirit Breaker charging forward. It's going to be a charge onto, can't even see, it's actually Faith who's charged on, but they're not going to go much further than that. Invoker looking for the, just ghost walking around back to normal things for them. The fight was very chaotic. If you look at just the death position of the Witch Doctor, he's back here. Lion and Lena both dropped down in the river. Phantom Lancer obviously was Omni Slash down over there. So Spirit Breaker under the Midnight Pulse, fighting it out with the Earthshaker, and the Witch Doctor fighting it out with the Invoker over there. Very scattered fight. Some of the moves favored CDEC, but the conclusion of it, not the best. There was still a pretty successful retreat from IG. Still, I think that Phantom Lancer Burning made a bit of a mistake with the Doppel usage at the beginning of that fight. They saw that a fight was going to have to break out, that they would have to get involved in, and with the fact that Roche went down. But he immediately Doppels and goes in with the illusions, and the problem with that is that you don't have Doppelwalk then, or Doppelganger, available for when the Omnislash goes against you. So there was a very significant time period where he was BKB'd, but all of the Omnislashes went right to the face, and that was just pretty much based on the fact that he didn't have that cooldown available. So maybe keep that a little bit more in reserve as a reactionary tool, more than just a way to get illusions in the fight. That's my mindset anyways. Obviously the Manta can be used to dissipate some Juggernaut damage, and XZ might find Luo here. Could be a pretty good opening. Pops another strike. BKB immediately from Luo though, and that's what they'll walk away with. 10-second BKB charge. We just see Ferrari putting some damage into the top tower. Pretty confident in his Invis rune. So even if he gets silenced here, there's a gem on the Invoker actually. Going to be able to pop the Linkage, go for the Ghost. Not silenced though, but still taking damage. They will be able to, he will just get used up, deafening, and all the spell is thrown at his face. He felt so confident in his Lincoln's Invis, but the gem plus the Orchid, and he's able to counter it out. Very nicely done from Shiki, and a good follow through from the rest of CDEC. So looking back over the last hits here, 257. Juggernaut's really caught up with himself thanks to the Battle Fury. And Burning only at 200 here. Still struggling to find the next item. I guess a Butterfly's in order, but we did see the heart last time. So we're dragging down to the 36-minute mark here in Game 1 between IG and CDEC. Pretty behind the schedule, to be honest, but still just trying to see a push through.
Over here now.
Sorry about that. Had to address a small issue on the sidelines, but moving back into the commentary of this game. We do see the Enigma going to be picking, he has his BKB as well as his Blink Dagger. A lot of potential for the Midnight Pulse Black Hole, but so far he's really been content with going for the solo plays. Just kind of looking for that last opportunity that just jump in. The only thing that really will stop it now is going to be the Nether Strike or the Juggernaut Ultimate. Jugs is a really weak range, as you can see. Omnislash is a lot shorter range than the Nether Strike, so it's mostly Spirit Breaker's job here to interrupt the Black Hole until the Abyssal Blade comes out. Then maybe the Juggernaut can use it while Omnislashing. But we're going to see a smoke up here, trying to find an opening. And I mean, Burning with this Reaver is very farmed, very beastly, and somebody who's willing to fight at this point in time. But they're going to be smoking again in the wrong route. These smoke movements have not been favorable to IG. I don't know if it's a vision issue or it's just CDEC happen to be elsewhere, but every single time these smokes come through, it seems like IG can't find the heroes they want. Last time they walked right by the Roshan pit right when CDEC were entering it, and now we see here them just kind of relegating themselves to a push up top, which is still going to be a free tier 2 tower. The glyph forced out, but it's going to be going down for sure. There's way too many creeps on it, way too many illusions on it for it not to fall, and CDEC haven't made a move that way just yet.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Whoa, what'd I miss?
So, Aghanim Scepter going to come out for the Invoker. A pretty interesting item to pick up as his third major after Midas. But we're going to be seeing potential, really just the Arsenal Magus live up to his reputation. He can spell spam like crazy here. Main spells that you're going to be seeing in the fights are Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap, maybe Ghost Walk to start. Deafening Blast, he's been casting a lot of. Alacrity, he definitely should be using on the Juggernaut. And everything else is kind of luxury beyond that point. But 2-second invokes, you can spam spells like a madman. And you could even get some Ice Walls in there, I would say. Ice Walls are pretty solid. The Exhort spells are pretty weak unless you actually have more points in it. But actually, we're going to see a stun come out on Garter here. The Sunstrike's still going to do good damage, and the Finger of Death will finish him off. But they're looking for more. Faith is going to get cut out by the Spirit Breaker charge, and that should be his death as well. So going into the pit, checking things out for themselves. In the end, they find a fight they cannot take, and now Shiki finds Luo. No blink away. He's going to be going down too. Deafening, Silence. He's going to BKB. Maybe he'll get out. The Omni Slash is animation canceled, but Luo can't find the Blink Dagger away. So he still will be going down despite the BKB, and that's 2 BKB charges used hyper defensively, still ending in his death. So Shaker going to look to buy back here. Defending the high ground is of the utmost importance. They know that CDEC want to push, but if they just put one hero up here, the Echo Slam shouldn't be that fatal to their aggression. So Aggressive goes up, tries to stay away from the extra backhand creeps, but he's just going to get fissured out for now. So spinning, at least for the moment, not spinning on the tower, which can do damage to it. It kind of does right clicks in between. It doesn't actually like do spin damage to the tower, but it does physical damage. Either way, he doesn't do that. He just goes in full retreat, and Roshan's going to spawn at the perfect time. So Sunstrike can scout that out maybe. Forge Spirit summons could as well. Whatever works out well for Shiki. And he's powering up his Exhort, so soon enough we're going to be seeing the Tornado, Sunstrike, Meteor, Deafening Blast kind of combo there. It's a lot of spells to throw out, so he might just kind of take the Sunstrike out of it, do the Meteor, Deafening Blast with any setup from his allies, but no matter what, we're going to be seeing a little bit more damage coming out from Shiki, not just the utility that we've seen so far. So we have the Hex coming through for the Storm Spirit, and that is looking good for them to try to end this game on that pickup in particular. Their movements across the map have been a little weak smoke-wise, but generally speaking, I still think that IG are the stronger set of heroes right now. Although their way of taking engagements has been a little demolished by CDEC's movements and their reads of the situation, I still think that IG have the items, the abilities, the heroes, and the time to make the big plays happen. So we're going to see a smoke from them. Dire do not see this whatsoever. And there were a lot on the map, so they might not be too suspicious immediately. In fact, Lina going up to the next creep wave. Will they make the jump there? The Storm Spirit definitely can, but Q's just playing passively enough. And they are even considering the Roche bit, but the Eidolons are the ones that are scouting that out. I think that, yeah, Invoker saw that. He had a Forge Spirit that he was microing around, and he got Midas. And he's like, my creep turned to gold out of nowhere. I think they might be smoked. But in the end, they do have to go and retreat anyways, burning farming top, as there is just too much tower pressure on that lane. And that might just open up the Roche pit pretty heavily for CDEC. They're going to move out, find that they can kind of start fighting, start getting involved, and even use the gem to deward here. So they take control of this part of the map back decently. We are going to see a nice Observer Ward stick around here. They didn't see that one. But still, CDEC's movements are really deliberate. Really just trying to hold the territory of the Roshan pit in their grasp and make sure that they don't have to cede anything to IG unless they commit a smoke. Goldgraph zeroed out almost. Experience as well. IG had a pretty tremendous lead, now falling behind. I still think they have the scaling to do it, though. I mean, this Battle Fury on the Juggernaut is tough, but they can get the initiation here. Looking, they get the Hex under Aggressive for Ferrari 430, expending a lot of mana, but Faith with the Black Hole onto 3. 4-man Black Hole, the Death Ward, the Echo Slam, everything in IG's favor. And they're going to charge forward onto Cheesebug, you can't do anything to the Witch Doctor. He's done too much to you already. The Death Ward doing his damage. He gets his stuns. The Malediction, they get all the kills. Lion is the only one to buy back into this game. The other 4 watch from the grave as Roshan falls. What a tremendous black hole from Faith. Just look at the damage. Everybody committing their fair share of AoE Wombo combo and dropping down the side of CDEC. Oh man, what an initiation. They just hurted them, essentially. Ferrari, the way he moved there, he forced one hero to BKB, he hexed the other one. Everybody moves in to protect the hex target, and they clump up into a perfect circle that Faith immediately takes advantage of. Oh, that was just beautiful. Now they're going to go get the Aegis, get the... no cheese? Oh, there's cheese on burning. And they will be able to push off of that for sure. I mean, they don't have Black Hole. That's a little bit of a concern, but CDEC aren't really the big high ground defenders here. So it's a nice spot. So burning with the cheese, with the heart, a lot of HP to work with. At least can illusion siege here and take this tier 3 low. Fortification not going to be popped just yet. This is an important glyph that they have to reserve until they absolutely need it, but there's enough damage coming in. They're going to use it now. And I think IG walk away with that. It's hard to say. I mean, 5-on-5 without the black hole, they're a lot weaker, but the Echo Slam is cooling down in 10 seconds. Luo, he's all the way back here. Okay, yeah, no. They're just poking while they can. If their Shaker was kind of sitting around here, I'd say maybe they could find a opportunity to back up a little bit, bait them into a fight, and then go for the slam, but no. Luo's farming agents. They're just going to go ahead and do what damage they can, bringing the tier 3 down to 373. $7,500 net worth in favor of IG after that fight. Wow, what a swing forward. Doing so much work, getting 11 Bloodstone charges up on Ferrari, who was down to below 5, I know. But now he's looking pretty good. Strong Storm Spirit is strong. 46 mana regen and the Hex. A lot of initiation power with this guy here. And we just really haven't seen enough from the Invoker. Like, he's scouting well with the Forge Spirits. I like his usage of each spell that he casts. But in order to really make this Aghanims a more valuable pickup than a Scythe of your own, you really have to spam out your spells like crazy. And it's just got to be every single thing, even the kitchen sink thrown out. But he just hasn't had the opportunity yet. Too much control from IG so far. We're going to see a smoke forward right into opposition. Luo doesn't pop the BKB just yet, but he should get it off in time. Now the fight will turn. Abyssal Blade onto the Earthshaker, trying to bring down Luo. The Death Ward, but the Omni Slash onto Luo, bringing him down. A Black Hole onto 2. Nothing to cancel it in the Midnight Pulse. And the Death Ward! They're killing them all. Pure damage and physical combining together to just destroy everyone. And Garter is being hunted down. Poor little Lion. Sleeps tonight, not in the jungle, but in the grave. And we see now they look to push in. Another amazing black hole. Look at the pure damage from this Midnight Pulse. Just adding it up with all that max HP. They bring them down. The Death Ward, it's not even counting, but he certainly got a lot of contributions, as this is the Aghanim Scepter on the Witch Doctor. Now we look at them go on the racks, taking those down in the mid lane. Shiki trying to delay what he can, but Ferrari's being actually baited into this a little bit. This is interesting. They do force out Shiki's BKB in the process, but now they took the mid melee. They're looking for the bottom tier 3, and why not? They want the Juggernaut to buy back. They want to force it, and they're going to force it here because they're going in. They're going to kill off Shiki if the Juggernaut doesn't do something. Invoker's already dead though, and now Aggressive can't actually contribute. Like, he's like, if you buy back when that action's happening, maybe you get some return damage. Instead, he's going YOLO. This is his last life. This is his last ditch. It's all or nothing. Faith still living through the Voodoo Restoration, and the GG comes out. CDEC go down in game 1. IG will take it 1-0 in favor of them so far. We'll go into game 2 to see how this one concludes. It is a 2-game series. Some people call it a best of 2. What it is IG dominating game 1 and looking to put more points on the board in the group stage here. CDEC, they're going to have to pull something out because it's just terrifying what IG can do with the right lineup, and this was definitely it. Faith is just such a player. His Earthshaker from earlier, now his Enigma today. It feels like Faith really just steps it up in the last 10-15 minutes of the game. Like, every single game ends based on Faith saying, okay, the gloves are off. Let's just see these amazing plays come out from these playmaking heroes. I mean, they give him the Shaker, they give him the Enigma, and he just does tremendous work. Oh, wow. What a game from IG. It just ends so satisfying. And we're going to see their 4th game from them today. thank you guys once again for tuning in to Beyond the Summit. This is the iLeague Chinese qualifiers here for Season 3, and IG are looking good in the early stages of the group stage. This is like only their third or fourth game, but they are already 2-1, and now they're going to be looking to take another game off of CDEC. We're going to go quickly into Game 2. We are very far behind the schedule, and time is of the essence. So thanks for tuning in once again, and we will see you guys very soon. If you enjoyed the commentary, I myself am Blaze. Look me up at twitter.com/blazecasting. Send me some feedback. As long as it's constructive, it can be love or hate. I don't mind. Anyways, again, that's at blazecasting on Twitter, and of course, check out beyondthesummit.tv, the coverage hub for all BTS commentary.